Welcome to all of you in this video. In this video, we will be talking about two key concepts which are very important and are often misunderstood while studying polity. We will not only shed some light upon these two key concepts, we will also be explaining them and we will be understanding what are the differences between both of the concepts. So, what are these two concepts? These are the doctrine of procedure established by law and the doctrine of due process of law. Now, let's start with the first one. So, what is the doctrine of procedure established by law? So, doctrine of procedure established by law says that a law that has been duly enacted by legislature or any concerned authority is legal and valid only and only if it has followed the proper procedure or proper method of enactment. So a law will have the force of a law if and only if it has been enacted following the proper procedure or method. Okay, so let's understand it with an example. Suppose a bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha. A proper debate follows. After the debate, the bill is passed in the Lok Sabha, then it is transferred to the Rajya Sabha. The same thing happens there also. In the Rajya Sabha, proper debate follows and it is passed in the Rajya Sabha, then it is sent to the president for his assent. And if the president gives his assent, the bill becomes an act and whatever the act says becomes a law. Okay, so here the law has been made by following a proper procedure, so it will have its force. So this is the concept of procedure established by law. Now another key concept is the due process of law. So what is the due process of law? So due process of law is nothing but the legal necessity of the state that it has to respect all the fundamental and legal rights owing to all the people. So we have fundamental rights, we have legal rights like ownership of property. So state has to respect all those rights. So here, this is the meaning of due process of law. Now we will be seeing that what are the differences. Okay, so let's talk about the first difference. Okay, so the procedure established by law checks whether the method of enacting a law has been properly followed or not. So here the stress is on the method of enactment. Okay, whether the law has been properly enacted or not. Now, if we talk about the due process of law, the due process of law checks that the law enacted is fair and not arbitrary. Okay, so it talks about the intention of law, that with what intention the law has been passed. That talks about the method of law. As far as the procedure established by law is concerned, it talks about the method of making a law, and as far as the due process of law is concerned, it talks about the intention behind a law. Okay, so in case of procedure established by law, the Supreme Court checks the constitutionality of the law by examining its procedure of enactment or method of enactment. But in case of due process of law, the Supreme Court checks not the constitutionality but the rationality of the law, that with what intention the law has been made. So this is another difference. The third key difference is that if a law has been properly enacted, it can deprive a person of his life and personal liberties. That means with the help of a properly enacted law, the state can deprive a person of his life and personal liberties. How? Let's understand it. Okay, for example, if the law prescribes the punishment of death for a certain crime, and if a person commits those crimes, he will be hanged and he will be deprived of his life. If a law prescribes the punishment of life imprisonment for certain crimes, and if the person has committed those crimes, okay, he will be sent for the life imprisonment, and in this way he will lose all his personal liberties. Okay, so the state can deprive a person of his life and personal liberties by a law which has been properly enacted. This says the procedure established by law. Okay, but the due process of law says that all the rights which are owned by a person should be properly respected, and you cannot deprive him of those rights. Okay, so in the procedure established by law, the law is supreme, and in the due process of law, the rights owned by people are supreme. Now, as far as Indian context is concerned, in India, the procedure established by law is followed completely. But as far as the due process of law is concerned, it is not followed completely. It is followed in a partial sense. Now, I'm giving you an example. How? Suppose there is a village or a place where no facilities of road has been provided by the government, because the land on which the road has to be made or the road has to be constructed are owned by some people. Now, a right to property is a legal right, and the state is expected to respect those rights as far as due process of law is concerned. But you will also have to see the necessity of those people who are living in that village where there is no road. Okay, so there's a village, and if you have to make road to that village, you have to confiscate the, or I should say, you have to buy the lands owned by those people. Okay, so what the state does, the state does not care about the assent of those people. Okay, so in this way, he gives them a proper remuneration, compensation, and proper rehabilitation, and road is made to the village where road was needed. Okay, so in this way, the right of ownership of property is infringed upon by the state, and that is the reason why it is not a fundamental right, it is a legal right. So here, the rights of the people on their land was not respected. Okay, because it was the necessity, and there was a law which said that the state can take the land of those people and give them compensation and make a road on their land. It was done. So this is what is the case in India. Here, the due process of law is not fully followed. Okay, but the procedure established by law is completely followed. I hope this video was informative for all of you. Thank you. I will see you in the next video.